We're live.
We're live.
We're rolling. We're
Right,
rolling.
okay. So, hello everyone. This is podcast number 5 with Mr. Evenett. And we're going to be talking about like upskilling for the future. So, how you can have kind of turn your personal skills into professional skills and so on and so forth. Just quickly before we go into that though, we're just going to quickly mention the football.
Yeah, I think before everybody switches off and their attention, they realise it's me on the podcast and they turn over. I wanted to have a little plug that the PE department have been working hard behind the scenes, and we've managed to get the green light for a football programme. Now, kind of like an academy, but just a football programme that will match other academies in the local area, and that's obviously for sixth form, but that will filter down for a whole school football programme that we've developed from year 7 all the way to year 13, with tours and kits and external coaches, external speakers. Yeah, it's really exciting. We had this proposal and we launched it to the powers that be last week, 2 weeks ago, and they green lighted it last week. So now it's all really, now the hard work begins, and we're booking things. I've got a meeting later to discuss tours, COVID safe tours or whatever. But yeah, so it's really exciting. So I want to kind of push that and try to get, it's a girls and boys, of course, trying to get as many sixth formers on that programme to make it successful. And then obviously we're already thinking of the year 7s of when they will become sixth formers, so a pathway through the whole school. Yeah, it's really exciting. But anyway, we'll talk about that for the whole meeting, for the whole podcast. So yeah. Stop, you got to stop me, Millie, or I'll take over. Maybe have your hand up.
Yeah, raise your hand. So we're literally just going to go straight into it. So I know I can think of one personally, but was there a time you messed up and felt like you'd failed? And then adding on to that, how did you bounce back? So it can be even like the tiniest of situations or whatever.
It's a difficult one, I suppose. When you mess up or when you fail, you try to process it, or I try to be positive, So, yes, there's loads of things I regret. There's loads of things that I would have done differently. There's if I did it again, but also all of those mistakes has kind of created me or who I am now. And I'd like to think I'm quite happy. I'm definitely in a happy place of my life. There's definitely been low points, and there's been lots of failures, from football, from personal, from career, from not succeeding in job interviews or not even getting a job interview, and not doing well in my exams, and leaving jobs. I suppose with every failure, I just kind of either go in another direction, or I kind of aim harder at that target and say, actually, I need to work harder to achieve that, or actually this isn't really where I want to go, and maybe, but there's no real standout life-changing failure. I suppose there's been moments where the path I've come away from the path as such, and then recorrected myself later on and readjusted my goals. But yeah, no, I suppose the way once I know I mess up, I try to process it in a positive way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that also, I mean, I don't mean it like that, but the more kind of life experience you have, the more you learn that that's what you've got to do. Like, just turn it into a positive, get on, move on, get up and go. Like, just keep on going.
It is a massive
now, so yeah. Get on with it, if you know what I mean. It sounds a bit harsh, but
no, it's you learn from your mistakes. And there was that famous Rocky quote, was it? It's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and then stand up and keep going. And I know a lot of people, it's all them little failures, if you're not failing, then you're not really challenging yourself. You know, you're not pushing the boundaries. And I think now, especially now, midlife-ish, you get into that comfort zone, you know, and actually everything like, oh, I'm good, I'm okay at that, so I just stay there. And I'm trying to find new skills or new things that I can't do, and it's hard for me to turn up and be the worst in the class, and I'm like, oh, I'm really out of my comfort zone. And I could have easily just stayed in my comfort zone for the rest of my life, but you know, I'm trying, and you know, it's good. And even someone said to me, you're not falling over enough, you know, and I'm like, oh, I'm not getting better. And they're like, yeah, you're not falling enough. And I'm like, and because I was learning to wakeboard, and I was like, yes, because I'm just doing the safe stuff. I'm just like, oh yeah, I can do this. Yeah. Fine. It's like, mate, you've got to push, you've got to fall over. If you don't face plant, you're not going to get any better, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. I think I'm particularly good at staying in my comfort zone.
It's nice and comfy there, you know, it's lovely. It's it's slippers on, you know, obviously for me, it's like sport, you know, invasion games, team sports is kind of what I, you know, would easily pick up, you know, transferable skills. It's all the other stuff that I struggle at. And, you know, and it's hard for me to kind of think, oh, I'm not even average. I'm like below average. So I need to get better, pardon me. Yeah.
So next question, I suppose, or next kind of statements to throw out there was, which leadership skills were the most difficult to develop in your life? And obviously as a teacher, it's basically everything about leadership. And that, have you found any invaluable to your kind of daily life or professional life? Because I know that leadership does not come naturally to me at all. If I were to be called anything, I was definitely a follower or a sheep, if you like. I find that a lot easier. Talk about comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You say that, Millie. I think you're surprised. Anytime you know, interact with someone else, you're effectively leading. And I think, you know, you have, you know, I've worked with you now for a few years. So, you know, I definitely feel you've got leadership qualities. I feel people follow you. You know, you're efficient, effective, you know, and then people, so people, you know, I think you'll be surprised, even the little communication you have with people. You know, we're leading all the time, obviously with teaching, but now obviously I've got like a middle leader kind of role. So now I'm leading other staff members, but actually we're leading in our families, you know, in our friends, you know, without knowing it, obviously not the classic kind of, you know, strict leader, you know, like, right, we're all playing my game kind of thing. But any interaction, there is like a form of leadership. And then that kind of actually leads me on quite well to the best leadership quality, I think, is praise. You know, if I like you doing something, then I should tell you, hey, you did a good job doing that. And then guess what? You'll probably do that again. Everyone loves to be told you done well, you know. Even from, I don't know if the girlfriend's gonna listen to this podcast, probably not, but she does the washing up. I'm like, oh, thanks for doing the washing up. And then guess what? Hopefully the next day she might do the washing up again. I was like, oh, lovely dinner, you know, it was an amazing dinner. And then guess what? The next day she might cook me lunch, or, you know, but yeah,
that is cheeky. That is well cheeky.
Or mind go, you know, I'm a Jedi in disguise, but you know, no, that's
cool.
But you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You know, the power of praise, the feedback. You know, I think I am probably overcritical. I'm definitely overcritical of myself. I'm sometimes overcritical of other people, and I need to flip that, and rather than tell them where they've gone wrong, tell them where they've gone right. Oh, like, that's amazing. And then they'll be like, I can carry on doing that. And if I like don't mention it, then they might, you know, people are quite clever. They can read between the lines. You know, if you say, oh, an amazing shot, you know, they realize, oh, maybe my dribble wasn't that good, or, you know, I really like the way you know, called your name, and then they think, oh, well, he didn't mention about the other things I did, so maybe I didn't do them so well. But yes, I'm definitely looking at my praise or my appraisal to other staff members at the moment, and always with the kids, always with the students, more praise. Definitely, from one of my first teaching experiences was like a naughty boys school or like a behaviour school, and that was full on. You really needed to kind of what do they call? I can't remember what they called it. Positive reinforcement. Just well done. Like for you 5 who haven't sworn, you've done an amazing job. You 5 not so good. And well done for you. You 7 managed not to fight in today's class, so that was amazing. And then you guys, we're not going to discuss the fight, but we're going to praise these people, and then hopefully those people will want to be praised. And it is, it's very much, we haven't evolved that much from monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. So praise, I've learned from early on, praise the kids, but now I'm thinking actually I need to praise adults, I need to praise my partner, and you'll be surprised. Try it. Like, thanks, Mum, for making me a cup of tea this morning, and then bam, you get a cup of tea the next day.
I could do with training my partner to do that.
Yeah, well, it's if let's say you didn't, it's not. I suppose it's not praise. It's recognition, isn't it? Recognition of you recognise that I've done something for you, or for the good of our community. And I think that's what it is. You're doing something to make our community better. And it's nice to be recognised, to say, hey, you swept that up, or you cleared that rubbish, you picked up that bit of rubbish, thanks, that's, really helpful. Or, I see what you've done there, good job. Rather than you do it and then you think, oh, no one even noticed, I'm not going to bother next time.
Yeah. Sometimes I think, especially in I mean, I may be stepping out of line here, but especially in teaching, sometimes it can actually be, I think personally, quite a negative experience when you're constantly dealing with behaviour and that was a really bad lesson, or this person did this in that lesson, or I was really bad in that lesson, I wasn't on my A game. And I think that whole thing of praise and recognition as a general whole in kind of education is definitely, I think, something that could be improved, like nationwide probably. But I do find in school you always know that maybe the bad behavioural kids before you know the good kids, or
definitely you learn their names first.
And it's about a kind of reputation, I suppose, and I suppose they might have that for us teachers. I don't know, probably. I mean, you always remember like a bad teacher, or but then actually you do always remember your favourite teacher. So I think it's that maybe impression you leave or the reputation you have is one to always try and keep positive. And I think having that kind of general positivity around really does lift the place. And I think, as you say, in terms of back to leadership and how praise and recognition and kind of teaching through positivity rather than teaching through negativity is definitely probably something could be greatly looked at. Sometimes you have to highlight if someone's done something wrong. You need to recognise, especially if they're putting somebody else's safety at risk. Oh God, yeah.
But it takes up all your time, takes up all your energy, sucks sucks the life out of you. When one bad student can turn the 30 kids who have all done amazing, all put loads of effort in, and you go away thinking, oh, little Johnny, and you can't, you really, it's try to, focus your energy on the good and what went well. And that's that kind of going back to the first question about trying to spin it in a positive way. But it's thinking about because we could have a whole podcast on positivity. Thinking about other skills, definitely one I'm working on at the moment is kind of allowing students and even staff members to make mistakes, but definitely students. I want, purposely, because I can see when a mistake's going to happen. I can see you're going to head into problems because I've done it 1,000 times. But I've learned by making the mistake. But now I'm here, it's very difficult for me not to intervene because I find like I think I listened to another podcast. I think it was Kevin Hart and the Joe Rogan, and he was saying, it was a really good one. He's a really positive guy, and quite funny as well. But he was saying he wants his kids to overtake him. He said he cleared the path. Now you overtake me, and that's where it's a kind of a battle for me. I can see them going to make mistakes. They need to make the mistakes in order to learn. But then also, if I help them, I want them to overtake me. My footballers or my students, my son. I want him. Don't just be happy to get to my level, as modest little level. It's not, nothing special, but I want him to overtake me, and then I want his son to overtake him, and we need trying to progress. So I'm trying to help them up to my level, but then again, if I don't let them make mistakes, then they're not going to learn, and I really find it difficult to let go. And I'm not micromanaging the kids. I'm probably micromanaging, but the adults I'm not micromanaging.
It's not wanting to take those stabilizers off, I suppose.
You
just want to keep them on forever, but I suppose it's a part of life, though, isn't it? Making mistakes.
Well, I don't know. For me, I took my stabilizers off at like 2 years of age. I was off. The first day I got my bike, my blue bike. I was like, Mum, come on, take these stabilizers. Got my plastic screwdriver out. I was like, take these plastics. My brother, who was 2 years older than me, he still had his stabilizers on. But I wanted to be a stunt man when I was little, so I was just a maniac.
Did you really?
Yeah. I literally would jump off things head first and be like, I'm going to be a stunt man. It's like,
you always want to be a teacher?
No, no way, never. Who wants to be a teacher? Now, to be honest, even I was thinking, because I was listening to your last podcast, I was like, am I going to get the "Do you always want to be a teacher?" question? And I've been thinking about it. And actually, you know what? I don't think I actually really wanted to be a teacher until probably about 5 years ago. And I've been teaching like 10, 15 years, like now I'm happy. Now I'm in a really good place. And I'm like, I actually really like this profession. But I suppose like it kind of, you set one target and then you set another target and then you set another target and you zigzag until now I'm like, okay, this is the profession I want. I didn't know I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted when I was really young, I wanted to be a dustman when I was really, really young. But that's another story. But just because I just collected all rubbish and like, anyway. But then I wanted to be a stuntman, obviously, and then a footballer. And then I just kind of like, once that dream was over, I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And I just floated about for a couple of years and kind of those, I don't regret those years, but I feel like they've wasted years because I was just floating around, not really aiming for anything.
I think they're almost the most important years. Like I left college and I was just like working at Wivdean, not really doing much, getting paid, meeting my mates, and that was it. And there was nothing I wanted to do. I didn't really have a passion. I didn't want to be anything or do anything. I kind of did art at college. And I didn't want to do anything with art particularly. I just did it because I liked it. And I thought, I have to go to college because that's what the norm is, I suppose. Yeah. But I honestly, I do think those years of not knowing and just floating around, as you say, was actually really important because I realised that I didn't want to do nothing. I wanted to find what I wanted to do. And I wanted drive and I wanted a passion and I think it's like the reverse effect of having that kind of time where you're like doing nothing and it's all really boring. Yeah. It's kind of a bit rocket up your bum type situation.
I think for me, what got me back onto like the path is I tried to look at my own personal qualities rather than, at 16, probably 15, at 16, I realised, this football dream it's not going to happen. I didn't really understand anything about semi-pro football. I didn't really have any role models, or wasn't involved. So at 16, and then I kind of just floated about and went to college, quit college, and I was just kind of, I didn't know don't aim for the final goal, just aim for a goal, and then at least you're moving forward. And now you may go to this goal and think, actually, a month in, you might think this is the wrong goal, and then you might completely change direction. At least you're moving forward, and then suddenly it'd be like a zigzag. And as you get a bit higher in your life, it turns into a bit more of a line. You may think, actually, this is where I want to go, and then go forward, or you adapt. Probably, I started off coaching, and I started off, just being a positive role model in some kind of young, these troubled kids, and I just kind of really enjoyed that, giving back to the community. And then that kind of got into teaching, and then then I wanted to actually see how far I could push my teaching ability, and then and then it was so then for me it was my goals kind of, so I didn't know at 16 I definitely didn't want to be a teacher. I hated school, really. I didn't like any teachers. I didn't have any kind of relationship with any
I was just there.
Yeah, and then when I finished, I went to college because everybody else, because your parents tell you you've got to do something with your life, and I was like, I'm not working. So I went to college, and then I was like, well, it's just the same as school. So then I quit college and then went to work, and then I was like, what am I doing with my life? What, like, seriously, like, this is, so then, and actually kind of, I was earning a lot of money, but it was a little bit depressing as well. I was like, this is not it. This is not what I'm doing for the next 40 years. This is not me. So then I maybe was looking, I think I was looking more at my personal, like, who do I want to be as a man, and try to be, and say, right, this is who I want to be. I want to be this person as a man. And then my kind of career goals started falling into place. So yeah, it was a bit of a journey, but yeah, I do feel that was the regret. Maybe the last a few years kind of lost, just floating about, hating the system, hating the man, hating everything. And it's difficult, you like, everyone says, oh, what do you want to do when you're older? I don't know. Like,
staying on that though, it's always, I find sometimes, I mean, I think I even touched on it, so maybe this is a bit hypocritical of me, but sometimes it's always, what do you want to be? What job do you want to do? What qualifications do you want to get?
From when there were 3, from when you're like 5, like, what do you want to do when you get older?
Yeah. But then also, like, what about whether someone doesn't care what career they have or what they do? Maybe their end goal is to having been completely and utterly kind to every single human being that they've ever met. And maybe that's their kind of legacy, if you like, rather than being an awesome teacher or the best footballer in the world or the most paid hairdresser, or something quite, I don't want to say materialistic, because that's not it, but what, it's almost like, what about the personal goals? It's always, what do you want to be when you're older? And it's interesting that you say the career came after you realised who you wanted to be as a person.
Exactly,
I think that's really important.
Yeah, it was, I think, what kind of, that's what we should be asking them. What kind of person do you want to be when you're older? I realised that I needed to be the person that I wanted my dad to be. But he weren't, and I was like, and then without getting on the couch and talking about dad issues, but then like now it's like, okay, who do I want to be for my family, and who do I want to be for my students, and it's once you've got your personal life kind of in focus, then your work will just come after, and that should be, as a leader, that should be like the main focus. Is like, you don't go to work. Work is not your life. Your life is, you go to work to supplement your life. Obviously they come hand in hand. But if your personal life,
it's very rare that they do, and it's very rare. I mean, I know that, what's that saying? It's like you work or live to work rather than work to live, or whatever it is. But how rare, I know, mind blown. But how it must be so rare, if you actually maybe even try and look at it as a statistic, on how much those two level out. And I think you know, how often is it that people like love their job and their whole life is about their job, and they work 24/7, and it just like fuels their fire, like in a truly core.
I don't think that it's a job for a reason. I think even famous footballers, it's a grind. You know, it's difficult every day getting up, and you know they're not allowed to do things. They're not allowed to go on holidays, or they're not allowed to go even on like buy motorbikes, and their legs are insured, and some of them, like most of them, actually quite, but they kind of hate the difficulty of it. You know, there's always aspects, and I think that's probably, if you're looking for a career, to choose something that you can kind of, you know, or choose something that you know, that you don't mind doing, I suppose, and then move forward. And that may change as you know, move forward. But yeah, it is a difficult one. There's always going to be days you don't want to get out of bed, and there's always going to be days you don't want to go to work. You know, and you've got if your home life, you know, a lot of the footballers, a lot of the managers, they're just kind of liaison officers. They don't really coach them, you know. Like Alex Ferguson, he was, you know, 60, you know, you're telling me Roy Hodgson or, you know, Ancelotti, he's out, you know, doing kick-ups, you know, running the drills. He's not running the drills. He's just managing, you know, managing their lives, making sure they're okay, making sure they're happy. You know, how many times a player comes over and, you know, they've got an upset family life or whatever, and they're not playing very well, you know. So, you know, you carry everything with you, unfortunately. So, you know, you need to, as a good leader, you need to take care of your pack, of your, you know, of your herd, you know, and honestly care about them. Or at least pretend to, or at least make them think you pretend. You're not pretending, should I say? You know? But yeah,
exactly. Well, so obviously we've touched on like leadership and stuff, but are there any other kind of professional, in inverted commas, kind of skills that have always kind of carried and like flowed into your personal life that you found? So we've got like leadership, and that leads on to like praise and
well, you know, it's everyone talks about commitment and work ethic. I've always been a bit of a grafter. I think actually I've only the last few years I've realised enjoying the graft, enjoying, you know, especially watching like David Goggins, and oh my god, that guy's a machine. But like, enjoy the struggle. And I think that's like very rarely it's like, oh, this is hard, I'm gonna give up. It's like, actually, this is hard, this is like, I feel alive, you know. I get to feel the struggle. Isn't it nice that, you know, I've got a bit of a backache because I've been lifting heavy, or my legs are aching because I went out for a run this morning, you know. Isn't it, enjoy it, like enjoy the struggle, because that is what life. And I know the last few years I've been really, you know, trying to live in the moment, you know, another cliche, but, and then that is enjoying the struggle, enjoying the moment, enjoying, you know, enjoying the training session, or enjoying the lesson, or, you know, don't be thinking about the next step or thinking about this, and just focus on what is happening right now. And if it's hard, think, that's good, isn't it? If it's hard, guess what? You're growing as a person. You're developing. So, enjoy the struggle.
I like that. I like that a lot, because that does transfer into like most things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like how, like relationships with people, like they're not all going to be perfect.
Well, you don't want to be careful. You don't want to tell people to, you know, when there's a toxic relationship, you've got to get out, you know. Like, I don't want people to enjoy the struggle. He hates me, or she hates me, and she, you know, she says horrible things, and, you know, relationships should be nice, you know. That's not.
No, I'm not. No.
But no, that's enjoy the moment. That one. That's enjoy the moment. It's not the struggle. I suppose the struggle is the work ethic, isn't it? Enjoy the kind of the graft, or enjoy. But I suppose, with relationships,
I mean, relationships in general, like they're not always going to be perfect, but it should always be something that you want to work on, and that a two-way street kind of thing. That's what I was trying to say. It didn't really come out like that.
Yeah, no. If any of your friends like phone you up and tell you about their horrible boyfriend or whatever, don't just say enjoy the struggle, enjoy the daily kind of gaslighting, or enjoy the constant abuse. No, that should be telling them to praise their partner, and then hopefully they can mold and shape and dip. But anyway, that's I don't know. I'm no psychologist. I'm no psychiatrist or psychologist, or I don't know. I can't even say it. I definitely can't spell it. That's for sure. But yeah, that I suppose that's more for your work. If it's, everyone loves hard training. Like when training's difficult, oh, this is good training. If training was too easy, like you could play a computer game, it's too easy. Like, it's too easy. I don't want to play it. You want it to be difficult. But if it's too difficult, then you're like, and that's where you've got to get that state of flow. And I suppose that's going back. That's the relationship. If it's too difficult, then no. If it's too easy, you want the fight, don't you? You want the chase. If someone's there, just it's too easy. You're like, it's too easy. But if it's too difficult, so you got to. It's we'll talk about this one when we're not recording. That's for another podcast. That's for
relationship advice with Mr.
Relationship advice. That's Friday night or Sunday evening on.
So are you currently doing any upskilling? So you obviously said about the wakeboarding. I don't know how long ago.
Well, COVID. I was really going to push it last year, and now, I suppose Pardon?
Oh, are you going to talk about your fitness?
Yeah, well, about the wakeboarding, it's expensive. I think last year I could have done it, but now I've moved house and got a little bubby, so money's a bit tighter. Unless hopefully I do know someone down the lagoon, and obviously the college is there, so I'm going to try and see if I can get a little cheap deal. But if not, I've been talking about martial arts for ages.
Go on, do it.
I know. I've been and sitting next to Mr. Lester Card and listening to Joe Rogan all the time never helps, and I'm coming away from football, so I would like to do that for my personal. I've been doing a lot of running and just been working out in the garden, so that's quite nice. Obviously, I'm looking now being a responsible dad, of how, what I want his life to be like, and what kind of father I want to be, and what skills. And this is where, like, making them make mistakes, and because it's always one stress. If it's not one worry, it's another worry. I learned this early on, from minute one. It was just worry after worry after worry, and so I need to make him resilient, and I want him to, on my last breath, to think, a great dad, and I would like to be a father like him, or I'm just trying to kind of, maybe I'm gonna have to do a bit of research. At the moment, I'm just doing research on sleep training, and that I'm failing. He's had a bit of he's only 6 months old, so well, luckily I can have
6 months.
I know, it's gone so quick. But luckily, I don't have to turn up. I don't have to leave for work at 7 o'clock in the morning, so I can help out. But he's been up a lot. But so I'm looking for to set good examples. And that's what I've realised. The kids, you can tell them until you're blue in the face. Oh, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. But if you're not doing it, guess what? They're not going to do it. What I
found? It's like with all this mask wearing, I literally about 50% of the time, I'll be telling the kids put a mask on without a mask on.
Yeah, put your mask on. You catch something. I know. It's like, so how can I, tell it, if I was like, you want a bike? He's never seen me on a bike, so why would he want a bike? If I'm not, you've got to lead by example. If I'm not like reading in the evening, if I'm just watching TV and I say, you need to read before you go to bed? And he's like, well, you don't read before you go to bed. So, so it's all about forming new habits. I'm not, I don't do too bad. I'm pretty okay with it, but just, you've got to lead by example. That's my personal and fitness. For work, obviously the football program is taking off, and that's really exciting. And I want to get better at my coaching, and I want to really kind of try and influence young players and make them better players from year 7 all the way to year 13, and really kind of have a pathway. And that comes from our coaching and our kind of kind of opportunities that we give them. But then I'm still a PE teacher, and that involves all sports. I love, they're not all footballers, so I like teaching all sports, apart from dance. No, I don't mind dance, it's all right. But and then obviously professional as well, like my leadership, because it's only really dawned on me over the last few months. Actually, I am actually a line manager to quite a lot of staff members. Or I'm not head of department, but head of BTEC. I know, big promotion. But then there is a leadership element, and hey, why not? I'm in a position of power, or at least I can talk to the people above and I'm just trying to make things better from when I joined to when I leave. Can I make it better? It was pretty good, the BTEC program, but can I influence, and can I make it better? And then also that's the big thing as well, is if I leave tomorrow, could it run without me? How long can it survive if I weren't about? And I think that's a real reflection of your leadership styles, and especially with the kids as well. Like they're a reflection on your personality, or they're not personality, but your leadership personality. If they're a lot of my classes are hyperactive and talkative. I never know why, but so I need to that's definitely something I have in lockdown. I've been looking at I love reading all these self-help books. Especially all the documentaries, all the even the podcasts. I don't just listen to anything. I have to listen. It has to be like I have to feel like I am developing or growing, or I just think, what's the point of reading it? So I love all the leadership books, and I got the Goggins book recently, and I've got them all, so I dream about all these things that I'm going to change, or these big aspirations. But so that's one thing that's really hit home is, well, actually, like, it's a reflection on you. If they're all in wrong kit, guess what? That's on you. That's not on them. That's on you. If they're late, or if they're that's you. So I'm just trying to take more responsibility for my group, all my groups, my family, my friends.
And also, when you pass it on, especially teaching groups, I suppose when you pass them on, it's like you almost want to prepare them for the next person, and to be able to like show them off as little mini human beings, some of them. But like, I suppose they are exactly like you say. It's like they're a reflection of what you've been doing for the past year, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
and then that comes from praising them and acknowledging them, and showing that you care about them as people as well as performers. It's difficult. It's non-stop, but it's enjoyable. And like I said, I didn't have. I'm not going to blame my mistakes on not having a mentor, or not having a role model, or not having anyone to kind of show me. But now I know. Well, why not let the next generation know? Or why not let my colleagues know? Oh, hey, look, this is what I found out. Let's share and let's make everything better.
And I think I've said it in like every podcast, but I do truly mean it. It's that this is one of the whole kind of point of kind of creating this podcast was to show that we're more, I mean, this is going to sound like I'm a parrot or something, but we are more than just what the curriculum is or what our subject is, or, you know, it's like, I don't know. I feel there's so much more to staff members that needs to be shared.
I think, well, definitely now, I was speaking to my brother last night on the phone. He was like, his kid's going back to school. He's like, I love you, teachers. I'm never going to comment on how many holidays you have. I'm never going to say you don't deserve all this holiday, because you do. Like, if you can take my kid while I go to work and you can teach them a little bit, you know, then I will worship the ground you walk on, because I can't even get him to turn the tablet off, you know. So, but
exactly.
you know, it's we try, you know, there are people who go into this profession, obviously, you know, care about kids and care about, you know, their future, and so, you know, they're big personalities. I think, you know, you'll get a lot of talkers, you'll get, you know, you can't shut them up, big personalities, big hearts, you know. So yeah, it's a nice, I wish we could potentially, that, you know, not just the teachers, but it's the support staff that need the more the money. We need more, you know, it's all well and good having summer schools and whatever, but actually what we need more staff to support the kids, and we need to pay them, definitely the support staff, more, well, a decent wage, you know, nothing, you know, it's below minimum wage, you know, like what you're on, you know, no offense, Millie, but we know we should, you know, we need, you know, that's the asset of the school, isn't it? That's the, we need to, you know, now we're going to need psychologists after 2 or 3 years down the line, we're going to need like we need a team of 5 or 6 people in each school, you know, dealing with their problems and their anxiety issues and their attachment issues. You know, you think attendance was bad 2 years ago, you wait for the next 2 years, you know. And what have we done? We've cut, you know, we've cut our budget, and guess the first people we cut are the support staff, you know, and they're the glue that holds everything together. The teachers know that. Just Gove or Williams, or, you know, let's not get onto the politics bandwagon, but, you know, I'm sure the NHS are probably the same. I'm sure every state, you know, all of this COVID is going to come out of somewhere, and the budget's going to get cut from all the state, from everything. And I'm sure the NHS workers are going to say, look, it's all well and good you giving me a doctor, or you paying overtime for a doctor, but actually we need more nurses, or we need more receptionists, or it's all the other work that you're paying menial, you know, wages to, that actually hold everything together. You know, but anyway, I could run, you know, well, obviously can't even turn up on time, you know what I mean? Come on, like, I could run this country with my eyes closed, you know. Bloody hell. God.
It's interesting you say that, though, because just going back to, we need like a team of people to deal with kind of the fallout of this period of time that we've just had. I wonder what, even just for everyone, not just the kids, but our social skills are going to be like, you know, because we're talking about upskilling and blah, blah, blah. But what about like socially? Are we all going to feel really weird being in a busy place? Or, because I know the period where we came back after the first lockdown and like everyone was in, I felt really overwhelmed. So like, God knows what the kids felt like and all of that. But is it, I mean, it's just another extended period of time. Like, is there going to have to almost be, like you say, like almost a program or something like that, maybe form time or something, where they kind of do personal upskilling to kind of get them back to that level that they were at before all of this, especially the younger ones. I think it's detrimental.
The kids, I think, to start off with, they'll just adapt. You know, they're so quick at adapting it. But I think later on it might trigger. And I think probably, you know, the young adults kind of going into their early 20s, it'll probably affect them, maybe. I don't know. I think it affects everybody in different ways. But are you going to, you know, going back to your first ever question, in 10 years' time, is someone going to say to you, oh, what was your biggest mistake? And you'll be like, oh, COVID. And COVID made me become, I've just floated about and I started drinking and I lost all my friends and I lost my job. Or are you going to just say, right, I'm just going to spin it in a positive way. And I'm going to say, hey, I've learned, you know, I've appreciated my family more. When I see people, you know, I'm more genuine with them. Or you know, are you going to allow something to define the rest of your life, or are you going to actually say, right, no, this is put a positive spin on it.
Maybe more appreciative of everything.
Definitely. There was
gratitude.
There was something I shared with my friend. He was just laughing. He's just constantly taking the mick out of me. And it was about saying thank you to everything. Right? And I was doing it to wind up my girlfriend. She takes the brunt of most of my jokes. So she's easily wound up. Yeah. So I was like, you know, thanking everything, like thanking like inanimate objects. The first words that come out of your mouth in the morning should be thank you. And the last words should be thank you, and thank the sky. Thank you, Millie, for inviting me on this podcast. You know, thank you for internet. You know, thank you. And it's just like my friend is like,
start doing that in the office.
I'm trying to be more positive and being thankful. I definitely think, you know, COVID has made me more thankful for my, you know, for just the little things, you know, and we took for granted for so long.
Even the seafront, like I grew up in Brighton, so to me it was just not really a big deal. And like I always used to think, oh, why do tourists love Brighton so much? And
you got to weird thank every stone, Millie, on the way. Yeah. Thank you, stone. Thank you, stone. Don't thank the seagulls. Don't thank the seagulls.
But even like that, I go on a walk, you know, social distancing, and just with one person.
A walk. What's one of those? I've never been on one of those.
Yeah, but like a walk along the seafront, and like literally, I'm seeing it from a complete. I don't know even. I mean, I know I'm not old, but maybe I'm just getting older and a bit more appreciative anyway. But even just like the small things, I'm kind of so much more grateful for. Definitely, because it's all you got, really. You haven't got all these external things that are keeping you busy and stuff like that. You're going to have to make your own kind of fun.
Can't take it with you, mate. You know, can't take it with you. You know, that's it. If people are still talking about you when you're, you know, 60 years gone or whatever, if people are still saying, oh, do you remember that? Oh, no, well, do you remember Mr. Evenett, you know, in 2000 and, well, not 2000, 2100, 2100 or what, I don't know. I teach maths, but you know, and it's a positive way, you know. I think it's a, you know, a nice kudos, and that's you know, going back about, you know, when I was floating around, I was like, actually, I don't want people in 20 years to think, oh that Mr. Evitt, he was, you know, grumpy and moany. Have you froze? What's happened?
Oh no, I'm just staying still, I think.
Internet problem.
Oh, no.
I think that's the internet's way of saying, shut up, you've been talking for too long. But I'll finish it then, shall I? On a quick, but yeah, about, you know, being, you know, I want people to look back and the memory of me to be, oh yeah, you know, he's a nice guy, and that takes work. It takes consistency, motivation, in grinding, effort to be nice, to be happy, to be friendly, to be helpful, you know, to be clever, to be athletic, to be healthy, to be all of those things, and more, you know, to be, you know, it takes effort. So good luck with doing that. But
good luck, guys.
Good luck. You'll do fine. See you later. You know, because I thought to myself, right, I'm going to do the podcast. I want to try and, you know, not be the least amount of views. You know, I just don't want to be the least amount of views.
You're too worried. You're too worried.
No. Well, once I started talking, don't worry, it just started flowing. You know.
Well, that's what I said. We can jabber on for England.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so many things ticking around in my head that I'm like, no, that's a can of worms. I can't. This will be another hour long if I say that.
But that's why people like podcasts, though, because you can. For me, I just put it on my phone and I don't watch it. I just kind of, you know, put it on in the background, or I used to go for runs with it just playing. But or just like leave it on in the car or whatever, and just listen to it like it's like a radio station as such.
Yeah.
You know, while I'm cooking or cleaning or, you know, so that and then you like the kind of, you know, it is, you get to know the person. It's like they're in the room having the conversation with us. Because you forget. I've definitely forgot, and now looking my mind, I'm thinking, oh, should I have said this? Or have I? What did I say? I don't even know. I don't really want to watch it back, to be fair.
No, and we went off tangent. I couldn't even finish all my questions.
No.
So I'll have to do a part 2 with you.
Yeah, well, I was said before we went live that maybe we could talk about the football program. So I could plug the football program. We need to try and keep our year 11s. And we need to try and get some external students. So yeah, but hopefully, but yeah.
No, but definitely keep your eyes peeled, folks.
Okay.
New football program coming soon. Okay, all right then. Thanks so much, sir. So this was number 5, and I'll see you in number 6.
Okay. Adios.